was Martin had like a bunch of oldbloodnoise pedals in his rack, and yeah, that was in his synth rig and his guitar rig. So the pedals, we kept coming back to them over and over. But other than the sound of the pedals, which we absolutely love, and became really instrumental to making the record, we're just really big fans of the artwork as well. I mean, what is a pedal if it doesn't look fucking cool, right?
The reason why I wanted to make a pedal like this was I found that I was using 4 or 5 pedals to try and achieve this particular sound. This sound that became like the crucial backbone of the album, so to speak. And when we started talking about making this pedal, the early conversations were, yeah, we want to get as much of that as we can, that it doesn't just feel like too basic or whatever, and try and achieve that sound inside one box. I can get this sound, and it's better than the 5 fucking different chorus delay, distortion, reverb, all these things that I was using. I can get that inside one box now, which is genuinely game changing, in my opinion.
It was in July of 2020 when someone from CHVRCHES reached out and kind of posed the question if we would be interested in collaborating. We kind of set off on this journey of figuring out how to communicate about what we were going to make while not being in person, and got to talk with the band, got to get to know them better and hear some of the sounds that they wanted to bring to the table in a very specific device.
Yeah, one of the kind of cornerstones of the CHVRCHES sound, I guess, is a kind of modulated delay or reverb, because it always brought us back to the sound of like VHS video cassettes that had been played far too many times or copied like 3 or 4 generations. So it was that sort of wobbly, wonky, stretched video cassette sound. And we've always tried to sort of recreate that in hardware using, choruses and distortion and stuff like that. But yeah, like things like the Culture Vulture by Thermionic Culture, and Roland effects like the CE1 and the Dimension. But that's a sound that we've always been chasing. So that was always going to be the sound if we eventually got to collaborate with a pedal manufacturer.
So in the first meeting we had, Martin and Ian kind of described an overall vision for the pedal that was based on the album name, Screen Violence. The idea that screen could be some sort of like modulating reverb, delay, some sort of spacious effect, all controlled by one knob. And then violence similarly would be a one knob thing that would be a distortion of some kind. And it felt like the challenge on screen was going to be finding a way to create a lot of different types of sounds using only one knob. On the drive home, I just put on Love Is Dead, which was their most recent album at the time, and kind of just drifted away and had this very sudden brainstorm of, what if the screen knob could sort of take something that's modulating all the time, but then affect the delay time of a bunch of different delay stages, and maybe the sort of a diffusion, sort of a smearing type thing within those stages. I think the first algorithm I actually wrote super quickly after that didn't really sound like what screen sounds like now, but it was amazing how there was this kind of quick guiding idea based around the limitation they had set forth of let's try to do it with one knob. That was a unifying thing of let's do a really simple control set for a really varied set of sounds.
Artists endorsed or collaborated pedals can be an interesting, or products even can be an interesting thing. And we hadn't really explored that as a company, hadn't done anything with directly capturing sounds of a specific band or artist. And so we were pretty excited to try and create something with CHVRCHES that made sounds they were interested in, had used in recording, had used on the stage, and also liked.
I love a pedal, you just turn it on, turn it up, and it sounds cool. It doesn't lay everything out right in front of you. There's like a weird magic to it. I'm not explaining it very well, but I don't know exactly what's happening when I've got that knob at like the 2 o'clock position. But I know that I really responded to the sound of it, and I know that the sound of it at like, maximum is wildly different and really interesting and exciting, but I don't know exactly what's going on, and I don't need to. The fact that we were keeping it to very A and B screen violence, 1, 2, choose your order, mess with the tone, mess with the mix, let's fucking go, was wildly exciting to me. He who has been stuck in the weeds of 5 pedals for one sound. Well, no, it's the unpredictability that I love. I think that's it. I love something that makes a sound that I've never heard before, or it sounds so broken. And maybe I've just got a fundamental disrespect for authority, and like my college lecturers, I still hear them in my ear saying, rules about harmony and rules about how you record stuff that I broke every single day.
I just love what it does, especially in the sort of lower time settings on the screen side, where you get that really nice kind of sort of wide stereo effect. The kind of really intense short delay thing. That's been blowing me away on drums, kick drums and stuff like that. It just blows open the stereo field. So that's something that I've been really excited about digging more into. But yeah, it's definitely something I can see using live as well as in the studio. Yeah, I think we're going to be very close.
So we had, sent them prototypes and had a bit of back and forth and really locked in what we wanted the sounds to be and the control set, and felt like the design of the pedal was essentially done. And then the actual album, Screen Violence, came out, and I was able to listen to it for the first time. And it was amazing to hear so many of the textures they had described and given reference points to, but that I had never actually heard, and to realize how similar some of those were to what we had captured in Screen Violence, the pedal. It really kind of closed the loop on the thing they were working on, led them to want us to make a device inspired by some of those sounds. And then when that thing finally came out, I could see how you could use the pedal to create some of those textures.
So 2 years in the making, we finally have Screen Violence done, ready. We're building them. We're releasing it. And it's exciting because it's a new type of device for us, applying things to the device that we haven't used in any of our pedals previously. So like stereo output and how modulated effects play within a stereo range. It's new territory for us. It's cool that we got to do that with CHVRCHES.
folks. It's here. It's time. It's time for the deep dive of possibly my favorite pedal announcement of the year. It's the OBNE and CHVRCHES screen violence, baby. Let's go. And we're running it in beautiful stereo at the end of the chain. Okay. So, welcome everybody to the deep dive. Thank you for being here. I hope you're all as excited as I am to show you this, because this one has been something that I've been trying my hardest not to announce to the world or talk about. So, let's finally talk about it. So, what is screen violence? As you heard, it's a collaboration between oldbloodnoise endeavors and CHVRCHES, and it is a modulated, saturated reverb, or modulated reverb with saturation. And it's so simple, yet so damn effective. And it's stereo, and it has an expression input, and it's got this lovely big ass manual here that we get to read all about together and go over. So I'm so pumped to cover it in today's stream. So what we're gonna do, basically, we're gonna start off by running guitar through it. We're going to put some different circumstances. We're going to kind of flip through the control set, see what we like, see what we don't like, which will probably be nothing, to be honest, because every time I've played this pedal I haven't found a single sound I don't like. We'll put it through some use cases, and then after that we're going to start running it through other things like synths and drum machines. So stay tuned. So I guess let's start off right at the beginning and start looking at the control set. So yeah, let's do that first and foremost. So I am running it in stereo at the end of my chain. As you can see, there's kind of a weird big gap here on my board because I had to take the Walrus ACS1 off, which is off here in the darkness. That's my amp, so I'm running that in stereo too. But end of chain before the amp sim is the screen violence. So we're going to cover the controls real quick. So we have two foot switches, independent. We have the violence foot switch, and then we have the screen foot switch. The screen side and the green side, is the reverb, and the red side, or the violence side, is the saturation / kind of subtle overdrive. So these two switches control these independently. You turn them on and off, whatever. Then you've got one master knob for each effect. So the screen knob here controls multiple parameters, as you heard Dan explain in that video a second ago. It controls multiple parameters with one knob. So it's very user-friendly in the sense that you don't really have to worry about all these different parameters. It's just turn the knob and see what happens. Same with violence, it's more so like a gain control. And then you've got a switch here in the middle called first, which basically switches the order. You can have reverb into saturation or saturation into reverb. It's up to you. Then we've got two little toggle switches on each side, which on the right side, on the violence side, this switch changes the actual gain mode. So one of them's a bit brighter, one's darker. It's just different saturations, really nice. And then over here on the reverb, you're changing basically what way the reverb is modulated. So one of them is a modulated reverb that sends it through like chorus and stuff and kind of starts weaving in and out, which is what you just heard there. And then another one is basically three different reverb lines. One is slow, one's medium, and one's long. And the more you turn the screen knob clockwise, the further the sound kind of starts to fade in and out of the longer reverbs and whatnot. We'll get into each side in more detail, but for now that's just what the switch is. It switches between those two modes. Then you have your reverb mix knob up in the top left corner, so naturally we've got it mixed out fully right now because we have no care for life. Then we've got a voice knob up here, which is part of the violence side, and this is basically kind of like a tone or an EQ for the violence itself. And then finally we got a master output, so that's handy because this thing can really get loud. So that's just a super quick overview. So I guess now let's just show you what it sounds like with it off, with it on, and we can start messing around with some stuff. Actually, I'm thinking, do you guys need to see the whole board, or would you like to just see, like, just get up close and personal with the screen violence pedal so you can see exactly what's going on? What do you think? Play that box, Pappy. Because normally I'm like, oh yeah, people will want to see the whole board, but I guess, yeah, just the pedal. That's exactly what I was thinking. Okay, so you're gonna have to excuse me while I try to angle this terrible setup that I've got going on here of this microphone stand-esque, microphone stand-esque, I don't even know what you call it. No, we're just gonna figure it out, folks. As you can see, the camera has also got a very dodgy output, so we're gonna have to angle it in a certain way. Okay, bear with me, folks. This is the beauty of doing it live. As you can see, I should have probably gone to film school to be able to do this better, but you live and learn. Okay, there we go. Blair Witch vibes are always good. Okay, so let's start off with exactly what it sounds like with with and without it. Also, what's up, Emma? And what's up, everybody, for being here. Again, what's up, everybody who is here. So, let's go. We're going to go full Andy. Not Andy Othling. Full... Here's my clean tone. There we go. So now let's add the screen side in. And let's just set everything to 12 o'clock just for first time's sake. So, as you can hear, we got that nice modulated reverb sound, very Sunlight-esque. And so now if we change or increase the screen knob on this all the way up to max, we come up with this. And that'll go for ages. So that's our screen side on the modulated reverb. So let's switch it up. So this is the second setting here. And this one might be a bit of a surprise to you. Okay. So it's almost like it's got almost a delay before the reverb comes in. That gives it almost like a reverse reverb sound, you know? And as we increase that time to max, we get something like this. As you can hear, it's just reverbs feeding into each other. And naturally, as you increase if you've got a reverb tail, so let's just give it a reverb tail here. As you increase the screen knob. Ooh. This is one of my favorite. If you get it to the right spot, you can get this really cool, almost gated reverb sound, which is like here. Yannick, no, I wouldn't say so. I think this is its own thing, you know? And for those wondering, by the way, this does go full wet. So if we turn it up all the way, this is our mix. It's super, super great for getting that, like, you know, swept in feel. And when you're on something, when you're on a mode like this, when you're going full wet, if you go, let's say we set it to about here. You don't really get the full effect until you bring in the dry a bit, so you can hear how much work is being done with that smooth ramp in. Okay, so that's the screen side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set a kind of nice reverb sound so we have a natural end of chain reverb. So for this, we're going to use the modulated reverb, maybe set the mix to about 10, or the mix to about 11 o'clock and the screen side to about 10. So we've got a very subtle reverb. And now let's mess around with the violent side. This is what you're all here for. So a couple of things. If you turn on the violence side and your violence knob is at 0, you don't get any sound at all. Okay, so you have to be wary of that. And something else to just pay attention to, the more you increase the violence knob, you might have to pay attention to attenuating the volume knob, because they do kind of go hand in hand. So let's figure this out, shall we? Let's set it to 12 o'clock. Bring our volume down a bit. Attenuate. I actually love this reverb, or the saturation, so much. So let's see if we can. So you have a really nice like saturation there, you know. It's just like speaker breakup almost. So let's decrease the violence knob a bit. Violence isn't the answer. In this case, violence definitely is the answer. So now let's max out our violence knob. That is the sound, folks. So, Harley, do we know what circuit the violence side is based on? So, I don't know specifically, but the manual reads something like, violence is a fuzzy transistor drive inspired by tube distortion circuits. So let that be your answer. So right now with our gain toggle up, we are in the higher gain mode, which is why it's kind of clipping a lot more intensely. So I'll just show you while we're messing around in high gain mode. Let's use our. I'll show you how great this voice knob is. Nine o'clock. Now we'll go to 3 o'clock. Maxed out. This is that pure trebly boost. Voice back at 12. Let's change down to the lower gain setting, and this is what it sounds like on maximum violence, if you will. There's not as much breakup, it's more subtle. Decreasing the violence back down to 12. Here you have like this is almost you know, this is almost like that transparent overdrive sound. Yeah, it's incredibly clear. Also, PSPO, probably a good guess with the J201. It feels like that, you know? And I just love how clear it is, regardless if you got the tone knob or the voice knob all the way down. Maximum violence on the low gain setting, and you still just hear it really clearly. Let me tell you about Expression, because I haven't actually messed around with it myself, Harley. Okay, so now that we've covered both sides, we better cover what they can do when they're ran into each other in the wrong way. So the expression jack can be used to externally control the screen knob. There you go. That's for you, Harley. But so right now we're running the violence into the screen. Traditional, you know. Running overdrive into the reverb. But what if we run reverb into overdrive? What about that? Let's see. So all we gotta do is flick this big old toggle here in the middle, and now our screen side is running first. So without the violence on, this is what we're sounding like. I'll increase the mix a bit just so you hear the reverb a bit more. Okay, so there's our reverb. And now let's run the violence. You hear the way it sounds, because the mix is kind of set to 12 o'clock on the reverb, you hear the way it almost kind of adds this background noise. You still have all the definition and clarity of the notes. So now let's increase the violence, obviously. To max. Thanks for hanging out, James. Enjoy. Man, I love this. And we're on low gain, remember. So let's set this reverb mix to max, so you can really hear this breakup. So you hear how things get a bit muddy, so this is where the voice control comes in handy. Let's brighten this up a bit. Maybe we'll switch the reverb mode. I like that, by the way. Now let's switch to high gain mode. Let's crank that voice knob. Maybe bring in our dry guitar. There you go, pure industrial stuff here. This is the dream sound. This is the My Bloody Valentine sound. Like even with harmonics. We'll minimize the voice. Let's decrease the violence a bit. Let's ease up this violence, getting too violent in here. There's our classic slap back black keys sound. So now with all our effects at 12 o'clock. It's wild how much when you run the screen side into the violent side, it like adds so much more gain, but it's not actually gain, it's just the fact that all the reverb is being distorted. If you're wondering, by the way, does this react differently to your volume knob? Kind of, but not really. You know, like if I set the volume to maybe 4 o'clock or 4. It's much of a muchness. I think this is like the perfect industrial sound. Like even stuff when you like play up here beyond the fretboard. Okay, so now that we've covered some scenarios, I guess let's get an expression device hooked up to this bad boy. So what'll we use? I suppose we gotta use a ramper, don't we? It feels sacrilegious to not use a ramper. I'm just trying to think which ramper do I want to use? I wonder, do I have another TRS cable I can just switch out? So who's actually picked one up thus far? Who here has picked one up? While I look for an expression ramper cable. Dirk, you've got one? Okay, maybe we have one here. Stretch, maybe not. Oh god. Alright. Okay, I'm still pretending I need to hold off. PSPL, you're not gonna. Oh, and you got the ramper as well? Sick. I think I'm putting it after my microcosm on my stereo board. Yeah, that's a solid place for it. Yannick, you got it too? Shit. Okay, everybody's got it. I don't know why I say shit as if this is a bad thing. So, what we know here is that the expression input can control the screen knob. So, I guess let's just bounce it. Slowly melting. Maybe slow down the expression speed. You almost have to find the perfect spot where the fact that the way when you ramp it so slow enough that when you play the notes it holds onto them and then lets them fall off a cliff. Watch now, it'll fall. Nick, did you order one as well? Yeah? So now what if we switch it to square wave ramping? When expression is set up on it, does it only go to the highest parameter you have it set to, or does it completely take it over? No. So, for example, if on my expression ramper I set my A point to be the minimal point, then it's this, which is basically no reverb. It's just like almost modulation. And then if I set it to my minimum point, it's the lowest point of, it's like max. So what we can do is maybe do some interesting things, like set it to maybe minimum time and I really love that, especially if you sync it with your chord progressions. So let's maybe go for something where, yeah, like there, where we can get the slapback mode. Let's switch, add in the violence, but have it beforehand. So let's set it from the slapback mode, and then set our B point to be right there. Lovely. I love that. So now let's switch reverb modes and see what we can do. So now we're in this mode here, which is the different reverb lines. And so we'll go from minimum to maximum on this ramper, and we're kind of just slowly using the sine wave. We'll just ramp it now. Maybe let's speed up the ramp rate so it almost holds on to random things we play. And then with the overdrive after. love that, especially when you're not playing it. It's constantly going into the buffer of the pedal and bringing back stuff that you haven't played. So even if I play like... I love that. Yeah, Harley, we did. We're now setting expression up. It's ramping between 2 points on the reverb, so it's almost catching different things that we're playing. Let's try something. Yannick, I have tried it running it after the amp sim and it doesn't sound as good. So I mean, if I turn off the amp sim, this is what it sounds like. You know, not too great. But I mean, it doesn't sound too great because it's not being processed. But if you were running it into your interface and then using like an amp sim on your DAW or something, then it's going to sound great. Okay, that's the only blues lick you're gonna get out of me. Harley, I have not tried running it before Microcosm or into other stereo pedals aside from the cab sim. So I think what I'm probably going to do when it comes to implementing this on my board is running it in a matrice loop in stereo. So, and then just running the reverb full mix and then adjusting the violence, you know? That's probably what I'm going to do. But I don't know yet, to be honest. It's all about messing around, so I think that's what I'll do. But again, I don't know. So, now that we know we've covered the basics, let's just very, very briefly read the manual here. Or actually, you know what? Instead of reading the manual, why don't we do what everybody else wants to do? You know what? Why don't we do what we want everybody else to do, or what everybody else wants to be done, which is this. Let's have Dan explain it. And let's react. Ooh. So let's have Dan explain it real quick. After all, he did invent it. Man, the sound of that Juno going in sounds so good.
Hello. Welcome
Hello, Dan.
to Dan Explains It All.
Cool.
Today we're here to talk about Screen Violence. Screen Violence is a collaboration with the band CHVRCHES.
Do you know? Do you know?
Is it
No,
going
Aaron?
through?
Yeah, I agree.
No, I don't know.
It's all red and green.
Martin, do you see anything?
I see something. I guess it started already. Hi, I'm Martin from CHVRCHES.
I'm Ian from CHVRCHES.
Screen Violence is a pedal designed to capture some of the sounds the band was working with when they made an album of the same name.
Well, the modulation in this pedal, I guess it starts with a simple chorus and then expands.
Almost kind of like room-like stereo slap,
By the time it gets to the maximum, is complete chaos,
all the way to like an infinite reverb tail.
but it's controlled chaos. It's chaos that you can use.
Controlled
Just one
chaos.
dial. That was the kind of concept behind Scream.
It's a distortion, spacious modulation, reverb, all blended together.
And the whole thing is in
stereo, if you wish.
Monomodulation.
So let's hear some sounds. We're going to start in mono mode. To use mono mode, simply plug into in1 with a TS cable and out1 with a TS cable, and we'll talk about the other ins and outs later. Let's engage the screen side. With the screen knob all the way down and the mix in the middle, we have a nice slow chorus. Let's hear what happens when we move
That chorus sounds so
knob.
good on the Juno.
At low settings, sounds like a chorus. Then a doubler.
And then eventually a slapback delay.
Then a multi-tap reverb.
And finally, a not quite infinite decay, long trail thing.
Folks, can we talk about the fact that they managed to put like 6 effects on one knob, and you don't even want to control all the parameters of each effect, you just want to mix between them? Can we talk about how cool that is? The fact that you've got chorus, slap or doubler, slap back, pad reverb, and then modulated, kind of very slowly decaying infinite reverb. It's so good. Sorry, just had to say that.
Basically, as we're moving the screen knob, we're changing delay time, diffusion, feedback, reverb tails, and all of it is constantly modulating. That's the magic knob. That's the primary control over this section. The other control is mix. I'll dial screen back first.
PSBO, I imagine it's 2FE1 chips.
Dry signal. As I blend it in, you reach a 50-50 mix of dry and wet. That's what creates the chorus sound. As I turn it up, I get eventually to purely wet signal. Now we hear a slow, true pitch vibrato. As we then push the screen knob again, we eliminate our attack, we wash everything out even more. That's how you can use these two knobs together to create a myriad of sounds.
Mono to stereo.
If you're not already wearing headphones, you'll want to put them on now, because Screen Violence is a stereo pedal.
Same, Harley.
We're going to plug an additional cable
Everybody,
into out 2.
hold on. Everybody get your headphones on. Does everybody have headphones on? Dan asks us to put headphones on. And what Dan says, he goes, does everybody have headphones on, or are you listening through 2 speakers? Yeah? Yeah? No? Yeah? Maybe? Yeah? Well, if you don't, it's your loss. You're going to hear this glorious, glorious mono in stereo out.
Now Screen Violence is routing mono to stereo.
Good boy, Harley.
With the pedal off, you'll simply hear the same signal in both your left and right sides. With the pedal on, you'll get a wide stereo spread. The mix knob can affect the sensation of that spread. If I turn it all the way down, it's the same as it was when it was off. As I turn it up, you get a sense of widening out.
Oh, it's so good.
Eventually, there's no signal in the center anymore, and just this sense of hard pan left and right. That's because now there's the original vibrato on out 1 and a complementary vibrato on out 2, creating a wide chorusing effect. Now we can stretch the screen knob.
Also, folks, while we watch this, I'm actually going to get the pedal set up with the Synthstrom Deluge, so we can mess around with it with synths and drums and stuff. So, yeah, I'll mute my mic while I do that, just because nobody wants to hear a bunch of stuff being unplugged. But yeah.
And create a plethora of different impressions of stereo space. Now that we've become acquainted with Screen, let's meet
Violence.
Violence is a distortion inspired by certain pieces of outboard gear that were themselves inspired by guitar amps. So it's sort of a copy of a copy.
Copy?
Copy of a copy of a copy of a copy
Of a copy?
of a copy
Of a copy?
Or maybe just
Of
a
a copy.
smattering of transistors
Of a copy.
made to distort. There are 4 controls:
Violence,
voice, volume, and
gain.
the first control in your signal path is violence. This is your input gain control. All the way down, you basically don't get anything. As you turn it up, you introduce more guitar signal, and you further drive the cascading gain stages. Notice that it gets pretty loud. So let's talk about the volume control. This is the output volume at the end of the chain, so you can use that to tame increases in gain. You'll also notice there's a gain toggle. This controls the amount of gain in the very first transistor gain stage. So it's lower gain when it's down, higher gain when it's up. The voice control is a tone control. Basically, as you dial it back, it gets darker. As you start to dial it up from there, you'll notice the highs come creeping back in. It starts to get brighter. As you continue pushing it, it actually drives the mids and highs further into the later gain stages in such a way that they distort and it becomes a almost mid-forward overdrive. It's just the way that all these controls interact, so you'll find that there's a lot of movement within all these stages. Also, one note about the volume control, it gets very loud. Which can be great if you want a clean boost. So that's violence.
Stacked violence.
Since screen violence is a stereo pedal, each of the controls over the violence section is actually controlling two separate distortion sections, one for each channel. But since we're routing a mono input, what if we wanted to stack one into the other? Well, simply hold down both foot switches. The violence LED will blink red.
I didn't know this was a thing.
Indicating that stacked mode is engaged. So now when I turn it on, I have channel 1 violence going into channel 2 violence. It's pretty tame right now, but as we start to crank it,
oh my god, I didn't know this was a thing.
massive distortion. It is noisy and out of control and squealy, but
stacking distortion modules creates like an extra unique sound, something that sounds so broken, so wrong, so violent, for lack of a better word. But what I tend to use them for is to, like a good stack distortion, you can get all sorts of kind of crazy feedback that I like to record into the computer, and then I'll grab little sections of it and loop it or manipulate it or take it to a whole other place. So when we were messing around and testing the first version of the pedal, we thought it would be a good idea, if we have two distortion modules and we're using the pedal in mono, the option to stack them would be super fucking cool.
Yeah, because sometimes one distortion isn't enough.
So now, let's stereoize some distortion. Hear how now our intense distortion is spread out into that stereo field. You get the impression of modulation and reverb and just something sort of implaceable. And I think that's where the magic of screen violence really starts to settle in.
Order switching.
So what if we wanted to hear the effects the other way around, with the screen side running into the violence side?
Nick, I don't know. If two inputs are plugged in, can you stack in the non-true stereo modes, or only if mono is
First
plugged in?
toggle
I don't know.
is used to point toward what effect you want first in the chain. So I just flipped it towards screen, and now we've got screen first going into violence. You'll notice that when I did that, the violence LED changed to yellow. This is because now that we have a stereoized signal running into distortion, we can't stack our gain anymore. So even though stacked mode is enabled, it's not actually available in this particular mode. But let's go ahead and disable it so we can A/B those sounds. All you have to do is hold the foot switches again, wait 5 or 6 seconds, the violence LED will blink yellow, and that will tell you stacked mode is disengaged.
Hold on.
So now let's just flip that first again, wait 5 or 6 seconds. All you have to do is hold the foot switches again, wait 5 or 6 seconds, the violence LED will blink yellow, and that will tell you stacked mode is disengaged.
Okay.
So now let's just flip that first toggle back and forth a little bit. Hear how when I point first towards screen, it compresses and saturates, and your dry signal and your wet signal are sort of both getting distorted together and melded in an interesting way. Whereas if I put violence first, it's taking that distorted signal and giving you a clean, modulated reverb expression of it. Each has its own place, which is why we wanted you to have this chunky toggle.
This is a very large toggle switch.
I mean, every pedal needs a giant toggle.
Every pedal needs a giant toggle.
The other mode.
So now let's talk about the other little toggle, the mode toggle. So far we've been staying in the up position, or what we call mode 1. If I flip the toggle down with screen all the way down, you'd have a hard time telling the difference. But as I turn screen up with the toggle down, you hear that the way the reverb is introduced is very different. Basically, it's taking 3 separate reverbs, one short, one medium, and one long, and blending between those 3. So as you turn the screen knob up, you further blend in the long reverbs and blend out the short ones. It's a cleaner reverb sound, but it continues to have that modulation constantly active, always at the end of the reverb chain. And when you max it out, you still get a long trail, nearly infinite, decaying reverb type of thing. Also, while the top mode splits mono to stereo, the bottom mode can do that, but can also retain a stereo spread.
Ping.
Pong.
You've still got those headphones on, right? Let's plug in a Maris Poly to get a distinct...
Alden, just so you know, I read the manual here and it says if stereo inputs are plugged in or stereo outputs with screen first, stacked mode is inaccessible regardless of whether it's enabled, and the LED will reflect that. So that answers that. So it's kind of a bummer, but you know, it's okay, especially if you're a guitarist and you're running a mono rig.
Stereo delay sound. So now that we've created a stereo delay, all we have to do is plug into in2 on screen violence, and now it can be routed in true stereo. When I turn screen on, it maintains that stereo separation, that sense of movement to the left and right from the delay pedal. If I max out the mix control, it retains it in this bottom mode. If I turn the mode toggle up, you'll hear how it sums to mono, but then re-stereoizes just in the way it does. And this is just kind of a quirk of mode 1. To get the other magic, you sort of have to sum to a mono signal. But notice that as we turn the mix control back, because it's an analog dry through, you can bring some of that separation back in on the dry side. Or if you really need true stereo, just hang out in mode 2 the entire time. Finally, let's talk about
Expression.
There
Yes,
is an
let's talk about
expression
expression.
jack on the side here that can be used with any expression setup with a TRS cable with
So you mean like one of these?
tip
Dan,
connected to
I think Martin's
wiper.
got one.
Simply plug it
I think
in
Martin's
to
got
bypass
one.
the screen.
Hey, look, Don's got a slider.
This allows for external control of the magic. It's just good fun.
Nice.
So that's it.
So that's it.
Oh, well, I guess that's it.
That's Screen Violence, the sound modifier made by oldbloodnoise Endeavors in collaboration with CHVRCHES, the stereo Endeavor, the 5-knob Wonder, the effects pedal.
The 5-knob Wonder.
Uses 9-volt center negative power, draws about 100 milliamps of current. Standard soft touch relay bypass switching, and it's available now from oldbloodnoise.com and maybe at a CHVRCHES show near you.
Hey Harley, it's funny you should ask that. Yeah, there is actually a way you could get a free Old Blood Noise expression slider. Actually, specifically, you could get this free Old Blood Noise Endeavors expression slider by signing up to my Patreon right now, and you will be eligible to be in with a draw to win this and this Dark Star, and then an expression ramper in the same colorway by going to my Patreon and subscribing, and we'll be doing the draw at the end of the week. Simple as that. Who would have thought? Okay, shameless self-plug. Can we get though just some claps for Dan and Old Blood in the chat, and CHVRCHES, of course. That was pretty damn incredible. So now, thanks, OBNE. Okay, so wasn't that cool when Dan disappeared? Yeah, that was very cool. Does he just do that as well? He's like, he's checking in, or he's in work, and then all of a sudden he's just like, all right, I'm gonna head out. Thanks, guys, for a good day, and then just like disappears. Okay. So, Screen Violence. Synthstrom Deluge. Let's see what we can do. So, first off, set our controls to kind of be minimum. Reverb. So this is our synth sound. You guys hear that? The delay, by the way, is on the synth. There is no reverb in at all right now. It's just the delay. Let's oh, sorry, you guys aren't getting this through. Hold on. Can you hear it now? You guys getting that? Oh yeah, okay. E6 to A5. Because I've not heard anyone talk about it. I love how y'all had Dan and Churches talking over one another to simulate the effect that Dan was explaining. Very creative. Yeah. The script writing that goes into your demos and videos is like terrifyingly well thought out. And I say terrifyingly because it's the type of thing that I would never be able to do. I'm just going to create a sequence here that we can use to sample some stuff. Okay. So, as I said, let me actually focus this a bit more because I think it can be. Yeah. So, the delay that you're hearing right now is in this device on the Deluge. And there's no reverb or anything else. It's just the delay. So, you'll notice it's a ping pong, so if you've got headphones on, you can hear it ping ponging, and you can hear how it's true stereo in and out on the screen violence. So let's turn on the reverb. We've got Juno, very Juno vibes. Actually, you know what? Because now you guys know that it does pass through stereo signal, let's turn off the delay. And let's bring in the reverb itself. Ah, it's such a good sounding chorus. Okay. Now we've got just the right amount of reverb. good that sounds? Like if we turn off the pedal? Turn it on. Oh yeah. Why not? Again, for comparison's sake. Let's switch reverb modes. Off. Okay. Oh, I love that. You hear the way we've timed the actual we've now unintentionally timed the kind of reverb to come in just before every other kick, so it feels like it almost like reverses into it. So if you listen very closely, hear that? Okay. Just adds so much depth. Now it's only right that we test out the violence. What do you guys think? Should we start on the low gain mode or the high gain mode? Let's start on low gain. Build it up. Okay. Switch order. Now let's switch to the high gain mode. I just want to hear this on the bass synth. Just violence. Now, this is what I'm excited to do. So let's switch this drum rhythm out. Let's put in a break. Okay, let's just stop this for a sec. And figure out where one of our breaks is. Let's do that one. Also, I don't know why that is so sharp. There we go. There was an EQ on it, so everything you just heard has been altered. Okay, let's set the mode to time stretch. Nope. Okay. Let's add in our screen. Just the right amount. And then our violence by itself. Oh yeah. There we go. Aphex Twin in a nutshell. Oh yeah. Bring in the kick. Holy shit. Fucking hell. Holy shit. I love just switching the reverb mode. Just switching the reverb mode and just like spinning the time. It's just like... Everybody should own at least one synth. That's all I'm gonna say. Holy fucking shit. Seth, Dan, everybody at Old Blood Noise, everybody at Churches, why have you done this to me? It only sounds great because you made it great, Seth. I just love how fortet it becomes when you do this. Oh yeah, there we go. Like what? That's just the violence. Yeah, exactly. Harley, that's exactly it, like. I wonder, can we like sync the screen knob like time so that it almost sounds like a dotted eighth note? I just, like, sorry. I just can't really get over that, you know? It's just like quartet in a box, you know? You take a drum loop, you have like your 4/4, 4 to the floor kick. You know, without anything, this is just what it sounds like. No effects, no processing, anything. Or sorry, that's what it sounds like. Add in the screen. Then add in the violence. Bring down the voice knob as you increase the violence. And then once you're happy with it, all you gotta do is just add in that 4 to the floor kick. Oh god. And then you can mess around. Again, for comparison, without the pedal on, this is what you get. What the? Oh. Like, that might be one of the coolest things I've ever heard. Just holy shit. Like, I'm actually speechless. I don't have anything to say. Holy shit. But yeah, this thing is a game changer. 100%. God, oh my days. Like, there's just so many different ways you can use this thing. We heard how good it sounds on the guitar. We heard how good it sounds on synths, on drums, on drum breaks. What? All I can say, folks, all I can say, right, is... Oh yeah, I forgot to do the usual disclaimer, but by the way, folks, this pedal was sent to me. oldbloodnoise were very kind enough to send this out to me, but I have no, or they have no say in the content of my review or my own opinions. These are my opinions and my opinions only. But saying that, I think this is one of those pedals that... I think what I love so much about it is the fact that it reminds me of the simplicity of devices like Death by Audio. Like, stylistically and... Well, primarily stylistically, it just reminds me of Death by Audio because they have the very simple big knobs, like minimal controls, just very simple to use. And it sounds great. And here you've got that, but you've also got the multiple use scenarios that can come with something like the oldbloodnoise pedal range can. So you can do everything from shoegaze to metal to industrial to ambient music, and that's the same with this. And I think that's what I like about it, because normally, I mean, if you just take it, if you were to just look at like this, you know, the size of the pedal, you'd be like, oh shit, is there going to be just like loads of knobs, switches, menu diving? But it's not. It's so simply perfect, you know? I just don't have anything bad to say about it. I don't know. I mean, the only thing I can say that's not even bad, it's just that I wish it had, was that I wish you could run the stacking in stereo. But I mean, beggars can't be choosers, you know? But holy shit. I think Old Blood have knocked it out of the park here. To do so on your... correct me if I'm wrong, but on your first artist collaboration device release, is insane, you know? I think oftentimes people can, like brands can do artist affiliated or partnered equipment and releases, and they might be okay, but I think sometimes the brand will sacrifice their own knowledge and integrity and put all the creativity in the hands of their collaborator. But in this scenario, you can tell that obviously Old Blood were approached by CHVRCHES and told, hey, we want to make a pedal that basically takes all the 5 effects of yours that we have been using, but we want to do it all in one, and we want it to be really simple to use, and we want it to sound fucking awesome. They were like, yeah, sure, and why not? Yeah, let's just make it stereo too. You know, this is insane. You can tell it's an Old Blood pedal, but you can also tell, like, I'm not a massive CHVRCHES fan, not that it's by choice, I just haven't listened to them much, but every song of theirs that I have heard, you can tell that this is something that would be used on it, you know? So it's just so good. And the fact that it's stereo, the fact that it's stereo is so dope as well. But yeah, Jesus Christ. So for me, it's the pedal of the year so far. I don't know what they have planned in July, but yeah, holy shit, this is going to be hard to top. So for me, yeah, pedal of the year so far. I know it's very easy to say when it's like approaching the end of May and it's not really been half the year yet, but yeah, that's just my opinion anyway. But yeah, that's all I gotta say about that. So folks, I'm gonna end this deep dive stream here, and you guys can go off and watch some of the other fantastic demos from the likes of Anne Solikowski, from Emily, from Devon, from everybody else. I can't even think off the top of my head. But you should go watch their demos. They'll give you another lease of life on this thing. If you've not bought one yet, they'll probably push you over the edge. Thank you to Seth and oldbloodnoise for very kindly asking me to be part of this release. I feel honoured, as always. I never take this type of thing for granted because I never thought it would actually happen. But yeah, the fact that I'm able to help a company I love so much do releases, especially of this magnitude, is a serious honor. So thank you very much for letting me be a part of this, Seth. And I hope I've done it justice. If you guys found something interesting, if you learned something from this, if you want to support what I do a bit more, you can do so by becoming a Patreon of mine, or patron of my Patreon. I'm sure Harley will post the command Patreon link in the chat now in about 2 seconds, where we're also doing a giveaway for some cool Old Blood products. I already talked about this, but you can be in with a chance of winning this little expression slider, which is in the Dark Star colorway, this Dark Star, which is in its regular colorway, and a Dark Star expression ramper. And that giveaway will be running on Monday next week. So if you'd like to be part of it, you can just become a patron and subscribe. It helps me out, it supports me, and yeah, I don't have anything else to say. I won't do any more shameless self plugs. You can buy this pedal at oldbloodnoise.com or at a CHVRCHES live show if you will be at one. And this is not a limited run. These are just in production now, so go buy one. Thanks everybody. Thanks for being here. Thanks for making this stream yours. Thanks for lending me your ears and your eyes. And I hope you all have a great day and enjoy your weekend. And yeah, much love, guys. Stay safe. Take care. And push for gun control in the US. Very much. Thanks. Bye, guys.